Good morning. This is Ms. Fatma Al-Balushi and welcome to part 2 of interviewing and questioning lecture. Today, inshallah, we will highlight the interview and the types of interview. Let's start first by talking or defining the word interview. As you see here, an interview is a particular form of interpersonal communication in which two persons interact largely by question and answer format for the purpose of achieving specific goals. There are three things you need to highlight or to understand from this definition. The first one is the interview is actually a form or a type or a kind of connection that we will have in it two persons or more than two persons. For example, we have a group of people. Those people, they are gonna follow this style, which is a question and answer format or style. This is the second things you need to understand from the interview. We are using the style of a question and answer. Someone is asking a group of a question and the other person is answering, or other people are answering this a question. The third things you need to understand or to highlight is we have different purpose, or we have different goals from making or connecting by using interview. We might use interview, for example, for having a job, or for gathering information, or for having a help, for example. We have different purpose. We are gonna understand it when we will talk about the types of interview. Now let's start by talking about the first type of interview, which is the persuasive interview, or we can say the convincing interview. When you are trying to convince someone about a particular thing, we are using this kind of interview when we aim to change a person's attitude or behavior, when we are aiming to change his or her belief, or when we are trying to invoke an action. We want something from the other person who we are asking him the question. Now let's talk about the example. As you see here, one example is buying a new car. Let's say, for example, Ahmed, he wants to buy a BMW car or a Mercedes car, for example. Ahmed wants to buy a red BMW. Okay, when he went to the car agency, the worker or the employee there, they are gonna ask him some question. What color you want? For example, the year of the car. Do you want a big car or a small car? In order to what? To understand what's the type or how the Ahmed's car should looks like. Then they will bring him a car, they will say that the things that you wanted, you will have it in this car. So they will start, or they will try to convince him to buy the car that they brought to him. Okay? The second one, we have the appraisal interview. We can sometimes call the assessment or the evaluation interview, for example. Now here, this kind of interview is used by the higher management. When we are saying the higher management, we can say that someone is older or higher than you. For example, your teacher, when he or she evaluating your presentation, I'm trying to track your progress. For example, I want to make a present. You will make a presentation. I'm gonna evaluate you to give you a mark to see your progress, and it considered as a good chance for you as a student to understand if you did well or not in your work. Now, if you did well, you will never go to the third type of interview. But if your progress was weak, okay, or you have poor, for example, performance, you will go through a disciplinary interview. Disciplinary interview and appraisal interview, they are linked to each other. If you didn't do a good job here, you will have this one. As you see here, it is similar to appraisal interview. It's used as a mechanism to correct poor performance, which means I want, for example, to assess you again. I will ask you some question. Why you did this? For example, why did you copy from the internet in your assignments? Why you didn't prepare yourself good for your presentation? So I will try to correct the poor performance. At the beginning I'm gonna give you a warning اللي هو تحذير أو إنذار. If you did good, it's okay. Sometimes it will go to length in depth interviews. I will have an in-depth interviews with you, which mean I'm gonna asking you a lot of a question. We have the fourth type of interview is the exit interview. This kind of interview is used internationally. We use it with the people or worker who they leaves their organization or their works voluntarily, which means they left the job according to their decision. No one asked them to leave the job, okay? It's considered as a good type of interview for a good two purpose. Number one, the person who left the company who will feel like he is valued, someone is respecting him. Also, I can use it as, or if I want to develop my organization or company, maybe this person he will give me an ideas. Why do I need to why do I need or he will give me an ideas to change the attitude of my organization or to change something in my organization. This is the fifth type, counseling interview, which is for giving support or help when people have lots of problem and they want to overcome it, they want to solve it. Okay, we have a counselor here. This person is gonna ask you in-depth question. You need to answer it all because he is trying to give you a help. For that you will answer all his question, as you see here, in-depth question, and you need to answer it if you want really to solve your problem. In this kind of interview, they are gonna use persuasion again as the first type here. They will use persuasion to help a person to change his or her behavior or attitude about anything. For example, if we have two people, a husband and wife, their marriage was threatened by the lots of a problem, they will go for a counseling clinic in order to have help or overcome their problems. So this is the example for counseling interview. In that clinic, the counselor there is gonna ask him or ask them lots of questions and they need to answer it. These are the final types of interview. We have the information interview. The purpose of information interview is for gathering information, okay, about the person who you are making an interview with. Okay, this interview or this kind of interview, it must be with someone who is famous. I can't say, for example, my interview with Ahmed as an information interview. No, but for example, my interview with, let's say, Naima Al-Maqbali, this kind of interview we call it information interview because she is a famous person. We used to see it in the media, okay? This media we might say, for example, the TV, the social media. We can see the interview on our mobile phone. I don't know if you saw Suwar Shaib. Suwar Shaib is an exactly example for information interview. As you know, Shaib will interview people who they are famous. He will ask them a lot of a question about themselves, where he tries to gather as much as possible about the interviewee, as much as possible about the person who is he is making the interview with. The employment interview, which is all of you are gonna go through it if you want to have a job. We call it a job interview. People who they are in a particular organization that you are applying, that you are trying to have a job in it, they are gonna ask you or make interview with you in order to understand if you are able or suitable for the job or not. So we call it the employment interview. These are the 7 type of interview that you need to understand. I hope you understand what the types of interview. This is the end of week 3. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact me through email. Thank you so much and good luck.